Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Hope you're all going well and ready for a nice long weekend. We've got some news. We've got some pretty big news. It's been a quiet couple of weeks, which has been nice. No real injury talk. Boys are training well. Open training was great. Everything's looking really good. And just before the long weekend, we get some big news. And it's Simon Lethlean. It's regarding our now former CEO as of today. He and the club have apparently mutually agreed, to part ways. So the club has released a statement. You guys would obviously be across this already. But they've mentioned that the club's board and Lethlean have come to a decision that the demands of the club and the requirements and focuses of the role of CEO have shifted, and it is now an appropriate time to look for a new leader. So, it's interesting because the club's gone through so much change over the last, say, 12 to 18 months. Ross has come in, clean house. We've seen a lot of changes, not only in personnel on the field, but also personnel off the field. And obviously, Andrew Bassett and Simon Lethlean were at the forefront of, obviously, the sacking of Brett Ratton and what went with that, and obviously meetings with Ross Lyon, really targeting Ross and getting him back. So it's an interesting turn of events. We've got the current COO, Carl Delina, who I believe he was CEO at North Melbourne for quite some time, to great success, 12 years I believe there, as a board member and CEO. And he joined St Kilda in late 2022, and he's going to be now acting CEO, I believe. But a lot of people do think that he's got the capabilities, and it is likely that he will become the permanent CEO, but it looks like we will be looking around. I'm not sure if this is very similar to what happened with Ratton, where we kind of already had a plan on where we wanted to go. I did actually see Lethers was at the open training upstairs. He wasn't mingling like usual. I mean, this has unlocked a lot of other news that I guess we heard of last year, where I think it was Caroline Wilson, and how much do you really take from Footy Classified these days? But they did obviously run the story through Caroline Wilson that Ross Lyon and Simon Lethlean weren't really on the best of terms. You look at other clubs and coaches and CEOs and all that sort of thing, and they are pretty tight-knit. They're pretty vocal between each other. They communicate openly. According to Tom Morris, who was on SEN earlier today, he talked about that, and he mentioned that there was no real, I guess, hostility between the two of them. It was just that they never crossed paths. They never really talked. And I guess when you think of a footy club and what it needs and the direction we're going in, you want the CEO to be in contact with the guy that coaches the players that we've all members have invested in. And obviously at the end of the day, they're the guys that are going to be running out and hopefully aiming for a premiership. That's what we want, right? That's what we're aiming towards. And I think we've put in a lot of steps along the way. We've brought in a lot of people that have that mentality of, you've got to buy in. You've really got to buy in to the fabric of Moorabbin and what we believe in. And some people have questioned that with someone like Simon Lethlean. I don't obviously know him personally. I don't know the absolute ins and outs of everything that's gone on. But if you look at just the general reception of, what people have said in the comments, the reactions to the news, there are obviously some people that are saying all the best and everything, but then there's obviously a large portion of Sainers that are quite happy with the news and think that this is really another show of the ruthlessness that I guess has been bestowed on the club since Ross Lyon has returned. And that raises the other question is, was this really driven by Ross? Is Ross really that powerful behind the scenes that he can really say, I want another CEO of this football club? Or are we, some people, and someone made a good point online that, this has got Andrew Bassett all over it. Is this something that really Bassett is believed in and he's really driving force of this? Obviously, he's a mad saner. He knows how to run a successful business. He knows the right people that need to be at the club. Ross being one, but you wonder how much, I guess, power Ross had behind the scenes in something like this. It raises a few questions, but to me, it just, regardless of whether it's, the right decision or not, which I think it is the right decision based on the direction we're going in. I think it's the right call. I think it's just another show of confidence to the members, to us, that the people running the show now are really, really focused, driven, almost obsessed at just making sure that every level of the football club is spot on, and that there's no stone unturned. We've got to use that analogy. We're doing everything we can to make sure that the club is in the best possible position to win the second flag. As simple as that. And if that means we're going to have to clean house, so to speak, so be it. And Simon Lethlean, he's been at the club for quite some time. In terms of like some of the comments, some people say that, they're giving him credit for some of the things that have gone on in the last couple of seasons. And, someone mentioned here, he's the boss of an organization that delivered results. These are the 2023 results. I understand that people don't like him, but can't knock the results. It starts and stops with him. And this is off the back of last year. So a profit of 1.7 million, including government revenue, a profit before government revenue of 2.6 million, record membership last year, record membership revenue, record merchandise revenue, record MCG home game attendance in the final, and the completion of the Danny Frawley Centre for Health and Wellbeing. Obviously, everyone links Simon Lethlean to Dan Hanbury and getting him on board, and all the money that was spent on Dan Hanbury for very little return, the extension of Brett Ratton's contract, the additional 2 years that obviously only lasted about 5 months. And when we did make that decision to sack Ratton, and we talked about the review that went through the process that really ended up being the nail in the coffin for Rats, a lot of people did ask the question. I was one of them. If there's a review of the football club and certain people need to get questioned, why weren't we questioning people like Simon Lethlean that maybe extended Ratton's contract? And obviously that's been talked about quite a bit, and Andrew Bassett talked about it on our podcast and gave a bit more clarity behind it, but that was something that kind of raised an eyebrow for me even back then. So 12 months on, to then see that he is now departed, whether it is actually mutual or not, maybe isn't quite a coincidence. And it's just a final phase of what Ross and Andrew Bassett and everyone else at the football club is building. And some people even mentioned maybe Jason Blake. He's director of the board, I think, at the moment. Is he someone that could come in? I half jokingly thought, imagine Gil McLaughlin just returning casually as CEO. Wouldn't that be pretty crazy? And even Grant Thomas, what's Grant Thomas up to? Would he be, he's a person that we talk about, absorbing the fabric of the football club and really being a true sainter and really going for it and having knowledge in this space. He is one, but I don't know. It seems like a random multiverse thing. If you got someone like Ross Lyon as coach and then Grant Thomas as CEO of the football club, that'd be mind blowing if that actually happened, but highly unlikely. But we do have someone in Carl Delena that is taking the reins. He did actually play for Fitzroy and North Melbourne in the VFL AFL. Only 33 games in his career, but he did obviously work at North Melbourne in 2008, and he served as CEO there from 2013 to 2019. Very highly regarded in the redevelopment of Arden Street and obviously helping with their debt. They're out of that now, and he was a big part of that. And he joined the St Kilda board and currently serves as the acting CEO. So I think we're in good hands there. Ultimate professional, knows what he's doing, has done it before at other clubs. And I think he's obviously been working at the club for a year already in late 2022. So yeah, it should be hopefully a seamless transition. So I'll put it to you guys. That's just my thoughts on everything. It's a lot to take in. Obviously, we don't know the full picture, but we can kind of speculate, and that's what this is all about. Put in the comments what you guys think of the news. Do you think, again, this is another sort of reminder of how ruthless this club is really becoming? Because we're not really used to this, to be honest. We're not. Even posting what I posted yesterday about Ross Lyon walking over to Anthony Caminiti after he'd run quite a few laps of RSCA and telling him to get up, and we don't do this here. We don't effing do this. We don't fall on the deck and complain. We get back up. And I don't know. Maybe that's means more than what it just meant in that moment to Anthony Caminiti. But maybe that's what it's all about at the club. We're here to get up. We're here to get shit done and be a serious football club and win things. So who knows, Saners? But yeah, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. More videos to come. The podcast will return in 1 month. So we're very excited about that. So stay tuned for that and many, many other things in the works as well. So enjoy your long weekend, Saners. Thanks very much. And as always, go you mighty Saners. See you guys.